Hello, 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 and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. How are you doing? How is your family doing? How was the past week? I hope everything went well. Well, on this channel, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and in your relationships. And today we have a very interesting topic to discuss. But before we get into that, I'd like to encourage you to please share this link right now. Share it with your friends, share it with people in your contact list so they can join us in this very interesting discussion. We intend to shake a lot of tables this evening. So get ready. And I hope you would join the discussion. Debbie, I see you. Thank you so much. You're always one of the first to join us. Thank you so much for coming online already. And please share. And this is also a good time to ask everyone, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so that every time we come up with something new, you'll be one of the first to know. Yes. And at this time, our hearts reach out to everyone who is in Ukraine and to people who have friends and family in Ukraine. It's a very difficult time, it's a very traumatic time. Um, and we pray that they will be safe and well during this period. That's our prayer. And we pray for peace. We pray for peace in that region. And we pray for safety for the men, for the women, for the children. It's quite a challenging period, but our prayers are with you, the people of Ukraine, and to everyone who has friends and family there. Okay, so what is our topic today? If you are following us on Facebook and some of our other social media platforms, you probably know it already, but just in case you do not, here's the topic. Privacy. Yes, privacy. Where do I draw the line? Where should you draw the line? Where should the people you're in a relationship with draw the line as far as privacy is concerned? Is there an extent that you say, okay, this is just too much? Or is there a point where you're like, you know what, I need the boundary to be right here? Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, there's a subtitle. Oh, this is interesting. And I am hoping that you can still hear me, even though it's dark right here, but we'll soon have power back. So just give it a second or 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Let's see how long this will take. Times like this, you're reminded that, well, you were still in a country called Nigeria. Yeah, we're back. Anyway, I'm sure those of you who live here are not surprised at all. This happens all the time. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Yes, let's get into it. Privacy. What's the important thing here? Okay. I'm sure you will some of you may have wondered, how are we going to handle this whole privacy thing? I'm in a relationship. What should I say? What should I not say? What do I need to share with this person? What do I need to withhold? Is there a part of my life that I should not be talking about? What if there are things about my past that I am not very comfortable sharing with this person? Do I have to? So in relationships, you wonder about it. Should I not? How much is too much? At what point in the relationship should I share certain information? Am I making myself too vulnerable by sharing too early? And so on. So there's just all that body of questions and uncertainty around how much is too much. Where should I draw the line? Okay, that's part one. Now, on the other side, for people who are already married, you now wonder, okay, we're married. The two have become one. Does that mean we're one in every single thing? Do I have to share all the information? Am I entitled to any privacy at all? Does this person by default, because they are my husband or wife, have access to every single thing that concerns me? Where do I draw the line? And so, yes, it's a good time to talk about privacy. And this is one of those subjects where hi, Mike, I see you. Hello, Mike, welcome. It's good to have you there. This is one of those topics that I would really prefer to start with a definition, because definitions really help, at least just to set the foundation before we start to talk about more. Okay, so privacy. What's privacy? I looked up a few definitions, and it says a state in which one is not observed or disturbed by other people. So you don't want to be observed, you don't want to be disturbed by other people. That's privacy. It's also the ability of an individual to seclude themselves or information about themselves, and therefore express themselves selectively. So you seclude yourself, in which case you're not making yourself available. And sometimes you seclude information about yourself, in which case you are sharing some things about you, but not everything. So you're selective about what you share. So that certain things you just do not want to share, and it's left to you to decide whether you are going to or not. Now, if you are not legally committed to anyone, of course, you have every right to withhold whatever information you choose to withhold, especially if you really, it's about commitments and agreements. For instance, in an office setting, there are certain things you have to disclose because you work there and you have made certain commitments, right, in that place where you work. But for somebody you have, absolutely no connection to, you can choose to withhold every information because they don't need to know, right? But as you are progressing in relationships, then you need to begin to consider what is right to share and what's not right to share. Okay, so when you talk about privacy, you talk about solitude, you talk about quietness, you talk about just being able to be on your own, isolate, have your own personal time. These are some of the things we consider when we're looking at privacy. And really, everyone deserves privacy. Kingsley Young, I see you. Thanks for joining us. Everyone deserves privacy. Everyone has a right to privacy. So we should be able to have it when we need it. Okay. And in my family, we call it personal space. And in fact, even the kids know how to request for personal space from their siblings, especially when they want to maybe play a particular game and they don't want to be disturbed, or they just want to have a chat with their cousin or a friend somewhere and they don't want to be disturbed. At that point, they can actually say, I need my personal space. Or when one sibling is asking for too much attention, they can say, please, I need my personal space, and so on. So yeah, that happens between siblings. Well, how about somebody you are going out with, someone you are engaged to, somebody you are married to? Where do you draw the line? Must they always be able to get into your space? Are you able to say, I need some time off, I'm just going away? So we will get into some of the discussions or some of the banter, okay? But I will go a little further in some of the thoughts that I have captured. Now, when you talk about not being disturbed, right? The part where you seclude yourself, where you take time to be alone. There are many reasons why you would want to do this. So you might want some time to be alone with God. You might need time to be alone to think, to plan, to strategize. You might need time to rest and relax, maybe after a very difficult week, or you just accomplished one serious thing, you reached a significant milestone in something, some effort you're working on, and you just feel like, hey, I need time to rest and relax. Maybe you just want to just sit down and watch a nice movie, or you just want to be alone, absolutely no noise, like no noise. You don't even want to hear a car pass in front of your house or something. You just want absolute quiet. You are allowed to have that time alone, right? It's important. Another thing you may need time for, maybe time to groom, time to just take care of yourself, time to make certain adjustments, time to just be. Yes, those are some of the things you need time for. And it's important for people who are in your life to understand that those times are are valid moments that you need to have, and they need to respect that desire. I see some people have joined us. They need to respect that desire, and they need to be able to say, okay, you know what, you can actually, I know you need this time, feel free, it's fine. And they leave you and you enjoy that time on your own. That's fantastic. Welcome.
Yes.
So welcome to today's episode, Mr. Bature.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me? Hello. If you can hear me, just type 111 or type I can hear you. I learned that one from my wife. You see that 111 thing? I learned it from my wife. So if you can hear me, just type 111. I know that you can hear me in the chat box. Okay, so today, what brought me here is this matter. Yes, it's a very serious matter. It's a very serious matter. Yes. We want to scatter the tables.
As in, even before we do foundation, you just want to jump in and just...
You know, your foundation is for people who go school.
Are you sure that in this scattering you're trying to start now, you're not intruding on my privacy?
No, okay. See, because we're on this privacy matter, this foundation that you have laid, let me talk my own.
Oh yeah.
I spoke to somebody, and it was a simple conversation. And the question was, Ma, we're just gisting. And the question was, Ma, can your husband carry your phone? And the question is, what's he looking for there? So it got me.
Stupendous Grace. Hi.
It got me thinking. It got me thinking. I said, can your husband? I said, what's he looking for in my phone? Now, and me, I'm thinking, use your church mind. If two shall become one. If two have become one, it means your two phones have become one. Whether it's Apple and Samsung, it doesn't matter. It has become one. If the two phones have become one, why can't I check my phone that is your Apple and you check your phone that is my Samsung? That's the matter that we are asking, right? That's the matter we're asking. So,
but that's if I want to be like you now and play devil's advocate, somebody would say my phone is my phone, and so you don't need to come and be looking at what is on my phone. Yes. So yes, I can imagine that that's a school of thought, or more like it's my phone. I have things that I'm doing there that are none of his business. You know, you wonder, is that supposed to be?
What are the things now? What are the things that is none of my? Is it not?
Please, some of you that are on the call, if you have some of those interest, if you are of that school, please feel free to share some of the things that you feel are your personal and private information that this person should not see.
Baby, see, that's the cocoa for this whole question. Where do you draw the line? What are the things that your partner can see and the things that your partner should not see? And phone is just one example. It's just one example. But I know on your page, Baby, there were some people that gave certain responses about it.
Yes, it would be interesting to see some of those upfront while those who are live with us start to share some of their own thoughts on the matter. So let's look at some of the feedback we got. Okay, so Peter Frederick said, very true.
Very true.
What's there to hide if we are indeed one?
That's my guy.
I feel our oneness should negate the need for privacy in such matters. Besides, it's not, if nothing lurks in any corner, then there's no need for the darkness of withholding the content of our mobile phone devices. And he says, this is my view, though. Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your view.
So if this Peter's view is a very Christian view, but is this the view in practice? Like that person I was talking to. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not as if their marriage is having problem. They have reached a point of understanding. They have reached a point of understanding. My phone is my phone. Your phone is your phone.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I really need to get the views or the perspectives. Where do you really draw the line? Are there some things that your partner should not see on your phone? If there are, what are those things?
So Kingsley has something to say. Let's see what Kingsley Effiong has to say. He says, I personally don't think my partner should check my phone without asking for permission, whether it is girlfriend or wife. Okay, so he says without asking for permission. All right. So in other words, she can check it, but but with permission. So if she takes it without your permission, then there's a problem. That's quite interesting. Okay, thanks, Kingsley, for sharing. So in our house, I'm sure some of you are wondering before we ask you people, what do we do in our own house? Should we tell them?
Well, I will tell them, but let's read these other comments on Facebook.
And Nos Akioye says, well, I don't think it's a big deal. What's the worry for if I am doing right by her? I beg, if I decided it's you, come and carry my phone. No. That was a funny one. In other words, please, if you are out there and he has decided, please come and carry the phone. Yes, and that would be a way to show his commitment. Kingsley Asukwa says, she should not come close to my phone. These are just some of the comments around some of the thoughts that people have shared with us. Faith says, I'd like us to be close enough to use each other's phones. Fantastic. Yes, Faith. So it seems that most of the people who responded to this particular one are those who are in favor of like sharing all, being completely open, naked and not ashamed, and so on. Yes, but I have to say that it's a beautiful place to be, but for you to achieve it, there's a lot of work to do. And that work is the work that builds enough trust for you to feel that it's okay for you to allow your spouse or your significant other, in quote, look at your device or look through your phone or look through your messages. These are really sensitive. In some places, it's clearly labeled as a violation of privacy. If you pick up someone's phone and you start to go through their messages and so on. The question I would ask is, why do you have to go through their messages in the first place? Why can't you? It's okay that they allow you to pick up their phone, but for you to have a need to start checking, let me see what he said to that person, and let me see what she said to that person, it's already an indicator that something is wrong, that there's no trust, or there's little trust, or there's something wrong somewhere. Maybe not trust, maybe something else, but there is a problem.
Babi. What if there's no credit on your phone, and then you pick up her own phone to make the call, and in the process of picking up the phone,
you now saw one message.
That
started with honey, and it's not you.
And you didn't send it. Are we together? And you didn't send it. So and you know how these phones come in. You know how these messages come in.
Yeah.
They usually come in just the headline. And the headline looks very spicy,
very juicy, very attractive.
Very attractive. Should you not now go inside, to find out what is the rest of the body in the message, or when you see that headline, you just assume that it's a church service?
No. You assume that it's honey the person is trying to sell. So it's just starting with honey. You know that honey is the product. Are you interested in the product? That's all. But actually, if I pick up your phone and I see honey, I will open it, and I will now come and read it to you. I say, see,
see, that's where we are going, right? That opening that you open is already an invasion of my privacy.
Yeah, of your privacy.
Yes.
So this talk that he's talking here, he's just talking because really, sometimes I become his secretary, I be his admin.
No. Okay, before we go there, before we tell them what we do in our house, let's take a brief, just an interlude from our sponsors.
Okay, our sponsors. All right. Let's see this interlude.
Okay. Maybe you're not aware, Anietie is going to be at the Revelasis Foundation on the 5th of April, on the 5th of March, and she's going to be discussing husband material. She's one of the panelists on a topic. They have a program, and the title of the program is Husband Material, which is coincidentally the title of her new book. So for those of you that are online, those of you that are with us, please do well to tune in for that program. There's an online link that's available here, and we're just saying, hey, you can hear Anietie speak on husband material in that program. How about that? Going places, so going places.
Interesting. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And I think it will be quite an exciting experience. I mean, anytime I have the opportunity to talk about husband material, of course, I look forward to those. Okay, so let's talk about this part of information and how you're managing it. Part of information that you may want to keep private is your network, or some of your friendships or other relationships that you have. That's apart from the relationship that makes you start having these questions about privacy or no privacy, and what's transpiring. So there are issues of people who have exes and they still want to keep that relationship going on a platonic level, but the current spouse or current boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever it may be very, very anxious if they find out that that's happening, and the person decides, you know what, I am not going to bother this current guy, but I'm going to go ahead with that relationship, and they choose to keep it private. So they may carry on with chats and calls and so on. And if this other person goes to their device and checks it, then they will discover that, and of course, you know what's going to follow. What are you doing, and so on, that whole discussion, which might become a serious problem. So now someone says, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm just keeping a friendship going. Another person says, if you were not doing anything wrong, why didn't you tell me? Another person says, you should trust me. If you trust me, you shouldn't have gone to look in my phone and you wouldn't have found out about this, and it wouldn't have been an issue at all. So it's just a whole quagmire. It's just a big mess. And I think one way to resolve this mess is to define boundaries. You really, really seriously need to define boundaries. And how are you going to do that? Is it by taking planks of wood or something and actually putting physical boundaries in your house? Or is it by putting locks on your devices, or a key in the cupboard where you keep certain things? Are you going to actually do that when you're married? That would be terrible. But what you can do is to have a discussion, and that's the best way. These boundaries often are not physical boundaries, but they are boundaries that you still need to respect. What kind of boundaries? Boundaries that are agreements. This is what I want, this is what I don't want. If you do this, it's okay. If you do this other one, I'm uncomfortable. Please don't do this because of this. And when you're defining those boundaries, it's important that you say why. It's important that you let the person understand. For instance, someone says, I want you to tell me everything about your past. Tell me about your childhood. And maybe your childhood was a particularly traumatic one, and there's certain things you maybe have not gotten over and you don't want to share, for instance, right? Even though it would be encouraged for you to try to heal from some of those hurts, right? And be able to come to a place where you're sharing it, especially with someone you're married to. But if for any reason you are not yet married, you're in some part of the relationship that someone is saying share, and you're saying, I'm not comfortable sharing, you need to be able to say why, not just that I don't want to go there, full stop. Don't never bring this up again. Be able to discuss, define those boundaries. Boundaries are important, and you define them with effective communication. Please do not be afraid to define boundaries. It's easier to define boundaries upfront than to wait for something to happen which one party will call a violation, and then you now start having to drag the matter and
Barbie,
so on.
that thing you have just said is very key, because I was going to ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
but that thing you just said now seems to have some direction in there. It's easier to define boundaries than to offer explanations later.
Mm.
It's easier to define boundaries at the beginning
Yeah.
than to offer explanations later. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I was, because I was about to ask a question. I think there are different dynamics for privacy when you are still doing boyfriend girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a different dynamics when you have said I do,
Yes.
right? Now,
Definitely.
so when you have said I do, the dynamics is different, and when you are still, the dynamics is different. So
Yeah.
how do you, we have to be able to say how to manage, but
Yeah.
this fact you just made actually makes it easier to
Mm.
it gives us a baseline to begin from. Define boundaries.
Yes.
Like you want to say something, you want
Yes.
to say?
Yes. I want to say why. You talked about the dynamics being
Mm,
different. It's
yeah.
important to know why. Why is it different? It's different because now you have a legal commitment, a spiritual commitment to somebody when you're married, right? You have said, I do. You have signed that
The
document.
dotted line.
Yes. And that means that in a lot of things that affect you will affect the person. So at that point, some information that you could have withheld before, you cannot now withhold, because the impact of something going wrong in your life can significantly affect that person. Example, let's say you are in debt. You need to let the other person know I'm in debt, because if for any reason you, let's say, kick the bucket, let's use a nice term, they will come and ask that person you're married to. Your debt could actually be transferred to them, especially if you used some of your shared property as collateral. Let's say you used your house for mortgage and then you didn't tell them, and then something goes wrong and they come and take the house. It's going to impact the person as well. Let's say you have trouble in the office and maybe this person is the major income earner, or even if it is shared half and half, or however the equation is, their contribution financially is important to the well-being of the family, and you're having trouble at the office and you don't inform this person. Imagine that. What if something goes wrong? So why is it so important? Or maybe you have a health issue. Maybe you have just discovered that you have an illness that is very serious, or maybe it's even terminal, or maybe it's something that can be transmitted, sexually or otherwise, and you choose to withhold it. The person could contract the disease, and it becomes a problem. So why is it so? It's so important because there are decisions that need to be made for such serious issues, right? There are decisions that need to be made, and that person needs to be involved in the decision making. And if you are fair, and if you are kind, and if you are loving, as you should be, you would be looking out not just for your interest, but for the interest and the well-being of the other person, which would now place on you the requirement to share that information with the person. Because if you don't, it could be harmful to the person.
Yeah, very valid point there, Babi. And I'm seeing like this privacy thing. Someone raised a question, and I just wanted to put it out there. I think you can read it.
Yes, Timora says, talking about boundaries, what if your partner has a tendency for jealousy? Because some basic conversations with people can bring jealousy. And what's GST 111 lecture now with her?
Obviously a student.
Science and technology.
Obviously a student, and so I get
Jealousy.
yeah. So I think the thing is, you all, in creating the boundaries,
Hmm.
you also have to look at temperaments. You also have to look at
Character
character
traits.
traits
Yes.
of the people in the relationship.
Hmm.
and and you also, so if we're speaking to singles, people that have not said I do, you also have to check these things out to
Mm.
say, how does he behave when I come near his phone. There's one meme that I saw that the guy's phone was ringing and he was in the shower with soap all over his face, and his phone rang, and he ran out to try to pick the phone with soap all over. I mean, you get it. I mean, these because the wife can hear something, and it can be anything. So I'm not saying the guy is a saint, but I'm also not saying that his wife is the devil's niece.
Yeah, but I think the jealousy matter, it's actually a good idea to even address this jealousy. Why the jealousy? And it's a discussion to have. Why is it that you behave this way every time you see me talking to this other person, or
why
you
is
see
it
me talking
that
to
why is it
somebody?
that you see me talking to a fine girl and you
Your
have
blood
to
starts
your
boiling.
blood starts to boil? That's the key question there.
Yeah, it's a discussion to have. So let the person tell you what the reason is for that jealousy, and then you guys can resolve it. And if it is such that the jealousy is the kind that is followed with rage and some other things, you may actually need to watch out. That might be a red flag.
It might be a flag.
Yes, maybe
A
a
flag
red
to watch
because
out for.
there's a way some people are possessive and it can become destructive. So you need to analyze that jealousy by yourself and with the person, because you need to understand why. Are they insecure about the whole situation because of something that happened in the past, or are they with somebody else, or are they insecure because of something you did or something you said? I mean, analyze it. You may need to allay fears and say, hey, there's nothing here, or you don't need to be worried. But
There's something Kingsley said. He said, I feel trust is the key thing here. If you trust me enough, do you find a need to check my phone? If you trust me enough, do you find a need to check my phone? But me too, I can flip it that way. If I trust you enough, should you have a problem if I do? That's the flip side. So that's one way to look at it. Yeah. Because it's both ways, really.
Yeah, Debbie said something. She said transparency is key for me in a relationship. Yes, transparency is key, and that transparency, especially when you are married, it just makes everything so much easier, and it makes discussions easier. It makes life easier. You don't have to be thinking, what did I tell him? What did I not tell him? And then when you're having the conversation, you're calculating for the part where you need to stop because this other part he does not know. And if you just speak freely, you might just talk and enter the realm that you was supposed to be withheld information. I think it just puts a lot of stress when you have to be measuring what you say and calculating and stuff like that.
Chidinma is shaking the leg of one table.
What did she say?
She said, Kingsley, I don't think checking your phone is a sign
that
she doesn't trust you. Why are you protective of your phone like this?
That's a good question. Kingsley, let me see what your comeback will be. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Debbie says, I hope you know that part of being transparent means me telling you I don't like it when people check.
No, that's Kingsley coming back.
Oh, that's Kingsley coming back. I don't like it.
It's getting hot in here.
That's part of the transparency.
It's part of transparency.
I don't like
it when people check my phone.
So just have the discussion.
But really, like you said, that discussion is very critical. And if you're just joining, please look. Share this link. Share the link with your friends. Share the link with your neighbors. You can also share it with your enemies, right? So that they can learn, and maybe if they learn from you, they may not want to be your enemy again. So that they can learn. And so share the link. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. And if you have subscribed, there's one button there that looks like a bell. Just press it, pom, so that we'll notify you whenever we have program. But like I said, it's getting hot in here, and is the comments for me, right? Is the comments for me. Kingsley says, I'm not overprotective. I just don't like it when you check my phone without asking my permission. And I must add, because Kingsley is a guy. So I must add, when you check my phone, it's like opening my drawer and going through my boxers. That guys feel like that. Kingsley, if it's true, give me a thumbs up in there. It's true. So I
But
don't
what's
like
the
it.
problem with checking your boxers if it's clean?
Ah. No.
I assume the problem would be if it's not clean.
Ha. Baby, I think you should take
But
what
if it's clean and it's
I should
designed,
take what Debbie has said something. You should look at
what?
what Debbie said. Yeah.
What David says, well, let's see. I love it when people check. I love it when people check my phone. I have nothing to hide. Okay, I see. So she's just holding her position. She has nothing to hide, and so she doesn't have any issue. Yeah. So that's fine. That's interesting.
Somebody said Ichoko.
And it choke. But before we continue with the choking, I would like to read something I saw from a book, and
Okay.
it's quite interesting. So this book is 10 Stupid Things Couples Do to Mess Up Their Relationships. Okay, and it's by Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I hope I pronounced her surname well. And she said the first one. So she's trying to differentiate between privacy and secrecy, because there's the part where you're saying I'm keeping things private, and it ends up that you're actually keeping secrets from the person. Okay, so I'm trying to I'll read some of the things she said, which are quite very interesting. So she says privacy is something you give someone out of respect, while secrecy is something you withhold from one another. So privacy you give out of respect, like I respect your privacy. I know you need time to rest. I know you need time to pray. I know you need time to study. I know you need time to work. I respect your privacy. But secrecy, you decide to withhold for whatever reason. Now, privacy is when you want to go to the bathroom or pick your nose without your spouse looking. Or you try to buy them a gift without them knowing. That's privacy. Secrecy is when you feel guilty about something that you can't tell your spouse. So you're feeling guilty, meaning that's something you've done. It's not right. You're already feeling guilty. You know you shouldn't have done this, and you don't want to tell them. Secrecy. Privacy in marriage is your own personal space. In this, there is trust and respect. The other person is aware of the space and respects it without intrusion. We all need a little privacy to ourselves, otherwise, we'd go nuts. Then she now says secrecy is destructive in marriage. It's a lack of trust and respect. There's something the other partner is unaware of, and in essence, it's a lie. Privacy is having some quality time alone and so on. Secrecy is marriage. In marriage can be a form of deceit. So really, what are you doing, especially if you are married? What are you keeping from your spouse, and why are you keeping it? In the definition of um, of secrecy, it talks about how you decide that you're not going to tell the other person because they don't need to know. But the bias in that whole thing is that the person who has the information is the one that is making the decision about whether the other person needs to know or not. And most of the time, when it plays out and the secret is out, the person who was kept in the dark says, I should have known. I should have been told. Why didn't you? I'm talking about scenarios where people are married. There's information you need to you should not withhold. Now, when people are getting ready for marriage, because some people say, hey, it's only when you're married that you need to be. But when you're getting ready for marriage, there's certain things you have to share. Some people withhold medical information that is so critical. And they say you don't need to know because we're not yet married. And then after you get married, you now drop the bomb. And it's so significant that the other person is looking for which window to jump through.
So that means if we're saying pre-marriage, you have a partner, you have an acquaintance, you have a babe, you have a fiancé. Pre-marriage, what is the criteria for determining what you should keep private and what you should keep secret?
That's a very interesting question, and that question is one that it will be. I can imagine it would be a challenge to say this is what should be shared and this isn't what should be shared, because there's so many dynamics to it, right? There's the dynamic of timing. You just met someone, how much should you tell the person so early, right? And even at that, some people, it will be different for different people at different times in their lives. Example, if I am many years away from the altar, and when I say the altar, I'm talking about walking down the aisle to go and get married, right? If I'm many years away from that and I meet somebody, I'm not going to start by telling you all the indices, like I am this, I work here, I have this whatever, this is my blood group, this is my, and certain things like that, because I feel, hey, I can just be friends with this person, and if anything serious happens, I can start to share the important stuff. But imagine that you are much older, you are very near the altar, in quotes, according to your plan and your desires, and you meet someone and you don't have time to waste. You may actually start with the important information first, you know. So, for instance, if there's a blood group thing, like especially here in Nigeria and in Africa, where we have the whole sickle cell stuff, you could actually lead with that, especially after you found somebody that you think might be interesting. As the conversation is going, you just chip it in there. Oh, by the way, this, that, you know. I saw this post on Instagram that said relationships in the 21st century, and people just came. I'm a single male. I have this, that, that. The guy just dropped all his stats, you know. And really, it's not odd. It even happened in the Bible. I mean, when you think about how Isaac's wife was secured, in quotes, the Duets just read out Isaac's CV, son of Abraham, the richest man in so region. They have this much money, and they went with enough truckload of wealth to show. If you're worried about your financial security, nothing to worry about. He opens the trunk, and you see all the gold pieces and silver bracelets, and in fact he starts by sharing them, and he has camel loads. I mean, they just, because there was no time to waste, they just brought all the information up front, checked things, checked on the other end, deal sealed. A few days later, or was it the next day, Rebecca was on her way back with the servant to meet Isaac. So I mean, there are times that you need to just disclose, but there's wisdom. When you're coming to relationship, don't drop your brain, please. This is why I keep telling people, this whole follow your heart thing keeps people from thinking.
Hashtag don't drop your brain.
Yes, don't drop your brain.
I'm writing that one down.
Following your heart, yeah, that's nice, that's fun, that's beautiful, but you can't leave your brain behind. You have to carry your brain along and keep it engaged. That brain will help you to be analyzing and thinking, what do I need to say now, what shouldn't I say now, when is the right time to say this, and so on. So keep your brain engaged. For you to be going into a relationship, you should have attained some degree of maturity, right? And that also includes emotional maturity. So you don't just go in and just spill all the information about yourself when you don't need to, or when it's too early. So please apply all of those the social skills that you have learned over time to know what to share and when to share.
And apply common sense,
yes.
Right? Apply common sense. Some of these things, right? This week I have been, because of the nature of what we do, I have been besieged by different scenarios of things that are happening in people's lives, and sometimes it can be very touching. So sometimes you just want to tell some people, can you just kneel down, hands up, and close your eyes? Why? Because it's like your eyes is open, but you are not engaging common sense. So if you're not engaging common sense, some of these things, sometimes you are saying, I'm trusting God, and God is trusting you, and nothing is happening, right? Because these issues are things that the truth is that statement keeps coming back to my mind. That statement that Anietie said from the beginning. You have to check it. You have to look at it. What? It is better that you draw boundaries than for you to be offering explanation afterwards. So when you get into relationship, apply your brain and see. And in fact, sometimes guys, as a lady, guy doesn't even need to tell you that he doesn't like his phone. Is that you just make a move when he has a call, the way he dies for the phone will give you an idea, you know, that, okay, this one, so he doesn't even need to tell you. That's applying brain. So it now becomes something that you can now come out and say, okay, I know he doesn't like, he's protective of his phone. So we now have to have a discussion. What is the reason for protection? Is it privacy or is it secrecy?
Yeah.
And
there's some other cases where the reason the person is being so protective may be that the phone doubles as a work device also.
Which brings to mind a question that someone asked. He said, what if someone does a job that requires confidentiality?
Of course, you keep it confidential. You have an agreement with your office. You know, so if you just have to keep it confidential because it's your work and you have an agreement you signed, and you have and you are being. Just don't violate what you signed, because there's a problem with doing that. So some people have their work stations on their phones. The family, the wife, and so on should be able to respect. Everybody in that house. That's
the other thing that you bring into the mix now when you talk about where privacy is concerned, respect is also a key factor. It's a word that we must recognize.
Yes.
Respect.
And there's nothing wrong in you telling your husband or your wife, hey, or the people in your household, this is my work phone or this is my work laptop. Do not touch it. Do not play near it. Do not open it. You can define all the boundaries and tell them, because I have a commitment at the office and I can't go against it. And everybody respects that. Because after all, if you lose the job, the family loses the income that comes from that job. So everybody respects it.
All right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sorry,
I wanted to add something before we go to what you want to say. For the people who are saying, what should I share before marriage? One thing you must know is, do not withhold anything that you know that if this person finds out after the marriage, it will start a whole journey of, he did not tell me, she did not tell me, she deceived me, I was manipulated, and then you start going from counselor to counselor, pastor to pastor, and going back to the villagers.
Baby, you said anything.
It's true now.
Anything.
It's difficult, but it's the truth. Because some people will think, okay, do I have to say all of this? This other one is really, I think I can keep it concealed.
Oh, I risk you.
But somehow, somebody finds out somewhere. Especially people who say, see, these people, they are busy feeling like the best couple in town. I'm going to go and tell this man. It must be he doesn't know what his wife did 5 years ago.
Please, baby, I risk you. As in,
and then they'll volunteer the information. And now they don't even need to book an appointment with your husband or your wife. They just need to go on social media and drop a comment.
So
when you do anniversary, they just leave a comment.
So you're saying that if it is wisdom to get in front of the situation before it escalates.
Yes,
there's a word. In order to protect your future, it is wisdom to secure your past. And the way of securing the past is to expose it to the present.
You can't stand up, sit down.
My goodness. So to protect your future, secure the past by exposing it to the present.
And that is to the significant present.
The significant present, not multiple presents.
Some people, in the name of being vulnerable now, or in the name of being open, what's that? Or being transparent, they'll just go and be telling their life history to every single person they meet.
But I think, Baby, that's very. It needs to be, and I believe that we're speaking to people here that that have been following us, or maybe are just meeting us for the first time. You need to understand that, hey, I said it. I'm a student of mathematics, right? But relationships are not equations. You can't keep doing dy dx with every variable that you meet in the market. As a guy, you cannot just be doing dy dx. I know people don't know what dy dx differentiation. and integration. You cannot be differentiating and integrating with every variable in the market. If you are going to get serious with your life, then it means that you have decided that, okay, this is someone we're going to get. Well, we have passed first base. We are moving to the second level. We are moving to the deeper level. We have left the stage of acquaintanceship. We are moving to closer circles, concentric circles of the relationship. I'm preaching
You're
good here.
getting closer and closer.
I'm getting, yes. The circle is getting concentric.
Yeah.
The circle is getting concentric. So I'm thinking that at this point you need to apply common sense, like somebody said, right?
Yeah.
You need to apply common sense. And in securing your past, one of the ways of dealing with the past is actually to expose it. Because when you expose it, my wife was going to tell you how we do here. When you expose the past, it loses the power it has over you. Oh my goodness. This is good. See, when you expose the past, it loses the power that it has over you.
Yes.
So that if you are keeping it private, it is not because you are keeping it secret, because you are trying to hide it. No, you are saying it is my business. If you ask me, I can tell you.
And the interesting thing is, if you actually expose the past before the wedding, for instance, let the person, you will know what the person will do. If they're going to blow up, they're going to walk away, they're going to do plenty drama, it's best that they do it before and move on.
Yes.
Right? And then you go ahead with your life. Than for you to be married to someone and then they find out. And then it's now a combination of how terrible the information is, plus the fact that you did not tell them, So I think you just save yourself a lot of, you breathe easy. You live without anxiety when the person you are married to knows everything, right? You don't have to be careful about your speech. If the phone rings, you're not afraid he will see the caller ID, like that he will see who the caller is, because everything is bare. And the other part is it actually helps to protect your union if you are that transparent, especially in a marriage, because you can tell the husband or the wife anything that is going on freely, and the person can help to watch your back. Example, you say, oh, I'm going to so place, and this other person is going to be there, and in passing your spouse could just say, okay, so how are you going to handle it? So are you comfortable with meeting this person after so thing that happened in the past, and so on? You can actually strategize together, and if there are vulnerabilities, you guys can walk through it together to see that your marriage is not negatively impacted by something you are doing or carrying on with, and so on.
So, Babi, as we begin to close it up, I actually like to I wanted to do a giveaway, and I am going to post something just very shortly. I'm going to post something very shortly, but it's just for you to in a way try to tie up, especially for those that are just joining us, in a way try to tie up, this whole privacy in relationship issue. Just try to give a recap so that what we have said, they can capture it in the present, and then we'll do a giveaway, and then we'll walk away.
Okay.
Goodness.
Giveaway and walk away. So in summary, you need to know that privacy, everyone has a right to privacy, right? But for you to be able to achieve that without people feeling violated, you need to communicate. You need to define the boundaries up front, and you do that by talking about it effectively, defining those boundaries so that everyone is on the same page. Now, by the time you start withholding information that is important and critical for your partner to know, but you withhold it, you have moved over to secrecy. And in withholding that information, you are actually putting your partner in a position where they could be hurt by not knowing that thing that you have withheld from them. And that is not encouraged in marriage at all. You should not withhold information from your spouse, especially one that you know can be harmful to them if they do not know about it. Now, for other people who are not married, you have to tactfully weigh and measure and consider what to share and when to share. And like we said, engage your brains. Don't, in the name of following your heart, throw your brain away or leave it at home when you are going into a relationship. You need to bring your brain to the game and keep it engaged so that you know what to do, when to do it, and so that you can carry on with your relationships in a way that it does not jeopardize your future or the future of the person that you are engaged to, dating, yeah, and so on. So it's really important. So we encourage everyone to be to work with this information. Just the bottom line is, if you truly love someone, look out for their interests and don't withhold from them information that will hurt them. And that hurt is not just in the present, it's in the future. Don't withhold from them information that makes them say, oh, you're the best thing after fried rice, and they marry you, only to discover later on that this was a terrible decision, but they didn't know because you withheld information. Let's be nice, let's be kind to everyone.
Bobby, that is well said. And for me, I this is how I would think, right? I would think that if it's just me. It's not a general thing. I would think that if if the guy knows you and still and cannot love you as you are, then your lie is not going to hold him. Do you understand? If he loves you, the guy loves you, and he loves you as you are. If you are going to lie to him, if he cannot love you as you are, whatever lie or whatever thing you are holding back from him is not going to make him like you anymore. Because it's more like, keep it open. He will love you for who you are. And if he is your guy, if he's the real man that he is, whatever it is that you are trying to hide or that you feel insecure about or something, if you open it up to him, together, he will actually make you stronger.
And if he chooses to walk away?
If he chooses to walk away, it's fine. It means he's not meant to stay. So don't try to keep.
Because
don't
people
try
should
to
be able to accept you for who you
Yes.
are. And who you are is a combination of your past, all your experiences.
It's a combination of
leading
all
up to
your
this point.
experiences, past, present, future, right? So for ladies or for guys, please learn to have the gift of goodbyes. That's if somebody cannot stay, you should keep. If they find out something about you, they cannot stay, they should bye-bye. It may be hard, yes. And then, but that said, please, like my wife said, please be nice. Let's be cordial. The world is hard enough, right? The world is hard enough. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it civil, right? I'm just trying to wind down here. And so my giveaway, I usually keep I like to keep giveaways till the end of the program. And my giveaway is, and I'm framing the giveaways around the things that I do during the week. I update my status with very interesting things. So this week, one of the interesting things I updated my status with was this picture, right? Right, this picture. Now, there's this picture. So, and what we're going to do for you to win this giveaway, I'm only giving it to like 2 people. For you to win this giveaway, you have to find me at least, if you find 10 names there, if you find 10 of those people, you are a reader. If you find 15, you are educated. If you find me 25, my brother, I'm giving you this one.
25. How many people are on the list, man?
Be counting now. Be counting.
The picture.
Just be counting. So on this picture, if you can give me, okay, because of my wife, of my wife, can give me 20 to 25. No, baby, I want 25.
This is serious. So how many people are there, sir?
All right, so I will give you this husband material branded mug. I will send it to you, so that you will know that we are And in fact, if you get it, it means that you are a husband material, whether you are male or female, it doesn't matter. You are a material. Do you understand? You are a material. You are not just this thing. So that picture, if you get it, send us the comments, send the names in the comment. Somebody is only about Einstein, Otiri, Okpakpo. It's only about Einstein, you see, no, it's only about. So when this video ends, when this broadcast ends, it's about to end now, send it in the comment section, 20 to 25 names. Yes, we'll give you this husband material branded mug. And again, just in case you do not know or you have not heard, we also have Anietie's books on sale, and they are all over. Husband material is available at all of these places. It's available at all of these places. So please, it's available online. There are soft copies. There are e-copies, and very soon the audio copy will be dropping. Get your copy of Husband Material. You can get it, you can order it, and it's also available at bookshops. Roving Heights Bookshop, Roving Heights Bookshop. It's coming soon to Latana. It's all out there. Get it for a friend. Let's spread this love. Let's share this information we're getting, so that people can know. And for ladies, in fact, something you can even do is give it to the guys that are coming around you, so that let them borrow them sense. Guys, give it to the ladies, borrow them sense. My brother Jimoski is the person I want to use to round up. Jimoski says, women should start to be transparent first. Then we guys will follow. Jimoski, you have come again. Welcome. Anyway, I know Jimoski, this is Husband Material. I know you have read it. It's not you, I'm sure, but I'm just using you to advertise. Husband Material, this is the book. Husband Material, this is the workbook. It's the physical copy. It's here. There's so much information there, and it's packed full with common sense. Jimoski says women should follow. Me, I think everybody should just, if we can narrow our problems into deliberate and intentional conversations, we will have less calamitous relationships. God. I married Garcia, Lori me, Bobo. My goodness. Anyway, okay. She's like looking at me. It's actually time to go. It's actually time to go. So somebody said it's because the picture has been taken down. No, really, you can go back when we end the broadcast. You can go back to that place and look at the pictures. That's where you see the giveaway picture at that time. Just watch it and then leave the comments, leave your answers in the comment section. So once again, share, like, click on the notification, click on subscribe, and it's always a pleasure seeing each of you. Because of you, we do this every Saturday. Because it's an outreach, it's an opportunity for us to just help you see what we do. Babi, I just remember one thing before I close. I know we are past our time, but before I close, you actually didn't tell these people how we do it in our house.
Yeah, you're not the one that did not allow me to tell them.
You see it. Jimoski, can you see? Jimoski, they are saying women should start first. That means we'll just be dragging. That is me. No, it's you.
Let me say it quickly.
Okay, I'll say it quickly.
So in this house, we over time, right, from the time when we were preparing to get married, we shared and talked about a number of the issues, different things that we felt the other person needed to know. So we are totally transparent. And I know his password for his phone. He knows mine. The one on his laptop, I keep forgetting, but I don't need to remember unless, of course, when you need to do something, maybe set up one child for an event or a program online, then I have to call him and say, what's that your password again? Sometimes he's not available to take a call. I become his secretary and take the message. So I answer nicely, hello, who's speaking? Mr. Bature is not available at the moment. Can I take a message? And I take the message and deliver it to him when he comes out, So it's that transparent. But My office laptop is my office laptop. He doesn't go there because he knows that I have a commitment to my office, and a commitment includes that everything that has to do with that office, that workspace, is private to me and is my office information. So he doesn't go there, you know. So there's stuff like that that we define, but it's transparent and it's easy. So I don't have to worry about what I'm saying or what I'm not saying, because he knows everything. And if I pick up the phone and I'm talking to somebody, he's asking who is the person. I don't have to move to the next room and say, or lie. I just like, oh, it's so and so person, and it's calling for this or that purpose. You know, he says I do the same, but I'm not quite sure.
You do the
I'm
same.
not sure.
Who is on
Who's
the
that?
phone?
Who's that?
Especially if it's you. Okay, we have to go, but what will you do when your partner is on the phone
Mm-hmm.
and just laughing anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
and you are not the one tickling her? Let's be real. No, but you have to ask who is at the other end
Of the line.
of the line.
Mhm.
And I also know, I just didn't say it initially, that some people, their solution to this privacy problem
Mhm.
is that they have a public phone
And
that
a
the
private.
wife can see and a private phone that she does not see. I don't even know how to go there. So, but I know that one happens, and I don't even want to go there. But just define the boundaries, like we said. If you go back, those of you that have not, if you go back, define the
And
boundaries.
transparency will save your life sometimes,
It will
guys.
save your life sometimes. Have the
Because sometimes
conversations.
some people will call, and the way they're sounding, you just start warning your husband. Say that woman.
I remember one instance that a lady called me. We were in the car, and a lady called me, and I answered the phone. By the time I finished answering the phone, my wife said, you have to be careful of that lady. I said, as a very Christian guy, I didn't see anything wrong with that. But by the time I received the advance notice, I knew that okay, maybe I need to look at it a little more. But that's true. It's time to go. But that's true. They can actually save your life. Women, fearfully and wonderfully made. But the part that you need to pay attention to, you see that fearfully part is a very important part. But they wonderfully, it's okay. All right.
All right, guys. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. And remember, common sense is not so common. Bye.
Common sense is not so
It's not
common.
so common.
It's not so common. Bye, everyone.
Bye.